Hi, I'm Sean, and I've arguably been working on this video on and off since roughly 2020. Originally, it started as an idea for a relatively short video essay about my own personal struggles with apathy, and I will talk about them. But I am shifting the main focus to just be more rambly and less scripted, I say reading the script. After rewriting the apathy essay about 10 times because things in my life changed and I wanted to update it to reflect that, I am now more inclined to make a lower effort but more personal sort of ramble about life video. Very heavily inspired by Mikasacus, sorry if I butchered that name, annual stream of consciousness videos. Definitely go check them out, they're very cozy. Apathy is defined as a lack of feeling or emotions and is most often a sign of depression. I've been apathetic for roughly a decade of my life. I've never really had any close friends and most of the time was spent online. School wasn't really an issue. I cruised through with flying colors with absolutely minimal effort, so I never really had to work hard for anything in my life, which left me with no discipline and mostly isolated after graduating. I spent some years applying for jobs and not finding anything that didn't make me miserable, and at that point I really wasn't enjoying life. Video games were a mundane pastime and I skipped the stories because I knew I wouldn't get immersed. Going outside was cringe and joining a club or hobby just already hasn't worked out before, so that sounded like a bad option as well. The one thing I found some joy in most consistently was speedrunning, or rather watching speedruns. So after 2 years of trying to find a place as a cog in the machine, I realized life's probably just not for me and set myself an ultimatum. I'm going to speedrun marathon, and if I'm not finding something there to enjoy, I'm gonna end my life. During this, I didn't even think I was depressed. I didn't feel sad, I just felt indifferent to everything. Everything was just hollow. I didn't really allow myself to be happy or sad. I raged a couple of times at games, and I have a coincidentally fist-shaped hole in my desk. The things that I thought should be fun just weren't, and I didn't really know what to do. I had no thoughts about self-harm before that either. Now the fact that you're seeing this tells you that, fortunately, I did find something to enjoy there. And oh boy, did I find things to enjoy. Now, mind you, I knew absolutely nobody there, not even from online communities. I liked watching speedruns, but I was very talented at isolating myself, so the thought of joining a community and actually being part of it was beyond me. This still carried over to the event as well. Like, I was actually dragged to a room party and I was too anxious to join. I was standing in the hallway being invited in by multiple people, fully ready to get to know a new person, and I just couldn't. I got jelly legs and I waddled away feeling sick because I just couldn't handle it. And yeah, I'm still incredibly thankful for this moment. Like, I apologized in the M's afterwards for the rather awkward scene, and they were just all incredibly kind about it, which sort of made me realize that I have things to work on. But during ESA, I was actually talking to people. I was socializing more, or rather, for the first time, with the actual intent of wanting to know people. I was mainly talking about games and speedruns, but a bit of personal stuff always just kind of spilled out of me. Like the fact that I hope no one ever feels scared to tell me anything, that I want to be able to talk about everything with people. And this led to another decently awkward moment after the finale of the marathon during the after party. Someone I've been talking to pretty much the whole week left early in the morning, so it was the last chance to talk to them. And they told me, "You're cute, and I've grown to like you quite a bit." Now, for context, it was well past midnight and I slept like shit most of ESA, so I was dead tired. I also had ingrained in my mind that I am unwanted and people just tolerate me, so the thought that someone likes me didn't even cross my mind. Also just didn't handle compliments well, neither giving nor receiving. So I just kinda said thanks and goodbye and went to bed. I realized when I woke up that what they meant was that they liked me, and I apologized profusely for the awkward scene and misunderstanding. We're on good terms now and can laugh about it looking back. Speedrun marathons happened to be where I felt myself grow as a person the most. Getting a run at ESA was incredible, and after I did the thing, there was this short moment where a friend hugged me unprompted, saying something along the lines of "you did it." And in hindsight, it's honestly a miracle that I didn't just break down crying that very instant, because it was the very first time I felt like someone was just genuinely proud of me, without any familial obligations. I also had a lot of talks with people whenever I was confused about feelings. Rather than suppressing them because I don't get it, or being apathetic, I just said them out loud to someone. I realized not feeling strong emotions was actually a whole lot easier, but it clearly made me miserable. So my hard counter was to be an open book, allow myself to be vulnerable through speech while remaining physically stoic, or so I thought. This is actually why I overshare a lot, but I think this led to more meaningful relationships and allows me to be fairly open and direct with communication, which in my fairly limited experience resonates surprisingly well with people. Like, for example, recently I was visiting a friend I first met at a speedrun marathon, and I felt really awkward because we didn't talk too much before. She's female, I'm masculine, and I'm painfully aware of that. Despite that, I buckled my pants and dared myself to open up about liking physical affection a lot. Because, isolating myself most of my life, I'm incredibly touch-starved. Making sure to add that I don't want her to see it as a plea to please touch me, and that I'm not necessarily really touchy. But I do enjoy cuddling, no romantic feelings involved. I have cuddled with friends before, and it's just incredibly cozy to be physically intimate without the pressure of having to uphold a relationship or anything of that sort. And I realized that for a lot of people, cuddling with someone is inherently romantic or even sexual sometimes. But for me, it's not. It's just nice and cozy. I just wanted to be like, hey, I like Thing, and just in case you also happen to like Thing. And just leave it at that. And because I suck at initiating physical affection a lot, because I struggle to trust people telling me when I overstep boundaries, because I fear that I'm somehow intimidating, despite friends having called me the least intimidating person they know, which I actually take as a compliment. So I didn't even bring it up, because I feel like I'm pressuring her into doing something she might not be 100% comfortable with. I left it at the initial info before I even visited. We talked a lot, and she asked me how touchy I am with friends, and I explained myself again. Obviously, both worried about sending false signals. We talked about the whole false signal thing openly, and shared stories of how we both missed the most obvious signals, and then how I'm committing to open communication. She would be the first to know if there were romantic feelings involved, because I simply can't deal with that myself, so I have to let that out. And not telling her would feel deceptive to me. After a lot of deep talks, usually scheduled between 11 PM and 1 AM, we got more comfortable with each other, and we just started cuddling a lot. Turns out we're both really cuddly, and we ended up falling asleep in each other's arms the last few nights of the visit. It's the most comfortable I ever felt, arguably my whole life. I never got this close to someone in such a short amount of time, neither physically nor spiritually. But just open communication and allowing myself to be vulnerable lets me to find a friend that I wish to be close to for the rest of my life. Now, throughout all of these is a constant underlying confusion about who I even am, because I sure as hell don't feel like... I didn't really feel like anyone. But at ESA I was shown, and that was at least okay. People liked shown. I preferred being shown over... My personality was mainly online anyway. I knew I was asexual already, but beyond that nothing really felt clear to me. Over the pandemic, I mainly worked on myself while also doing the upper stage school, the stuff that allows you to study at universities, because I wanted to become a teacher, hoping to be able to help kids avoid the same struggles I dealt with. And I quickly learned that I just kind of had a knack for explaining things in a different amount of ways while helping classmates study, because God knows I did not study by myself. The only time I actually studied was to figure out more ways to help classmates study. But rather than just spending the downtime on video games, I spent it on video games? Yeah, so after ESA, I got into speedrunning. And when you see speedruns as a casual, you usually go, whoa, these people are insane. 5 billion hours of practice and so consistent. But really, I think the hardest part of speedrunning is starting. closely followed by not trying to be perfectionist about your runs when you learn them. A massive part of speedrunning is self-improvement, and if you compare yourself to Usain Bolt when sprinting, then you'll be disappointed. But compare yourself to your previous time while practicing even just a bit regularly, and you'll notice self-improvement. Even better if you use good splits, because then you can exactly pinpoint where and what you did better. That is an ability that helped me immensely. I started seeing improvements in myself. I opened up more, I was less miserable, sometimes I even had motivation to do things. I'm not trying to understate how much it helped having friends. I experimented a lot, mainly internally, but just in general with identity, pronouns, style, and friends were there for it and were cool about it all. I'm incredibly grateful to all of them, but the skill to seeing myself improve will always stay with me, even if the friends may come and go. I think a lot of my struggles came from just being raised as a boy, just growing up to not show emotions because crying's pussy shit and being emotional is girly. I got louder when I was having a good time, which was quickly shut down because being loud is unbearable for parents. I was also loud when I was getting frustrated, which was also shut down, which are honestly just textbook examples of how apathy can happen. So after lots of experimentation, hi, I'm Sean and I'm non-binary. I use they/them pronouns wherever applicable. Thanks in large part due to spending more time around people that allowed me to figure myself out in a safe environment, I managed to feel like I'm getting myself at least comfortable enough to be able to call myself non-binary. Another reason was that I wanted to create a mental distance to the societal obligations of being male. It started out as mostly an experiment, but really took a lot of stress off of me, and it just kinda clicked. So I still struggle with the consequences of decade-long apathy, but it's getting better, and I can confidently say that I deeply love the people I get to call friends. I want to share this tweet by George because it really helped me appreciate my friends a lot more, and I desperately hope that they are able to feel that. It made me realize just how incredible it is that people even share slivers of their lives with each other, and I want every single person I call friends to feel loved. I want to be a safe space to people. I don't want to be there even in bad times. I want to be there especially in bad times and lift you back up. I've started English and philosophy studies to become a teacher, which are going okay, I'd say. Can't really find passion in my studies just yet, but the topics are interesting enough. Unfortunately, there's loads of self-doubt involved, and I often think how much easier it would be to just start whatever jobs that just pay the bills and try to actually experience life more. But taking the easy path of staying apathetic was what got me into this mess in the first place. I still often feel like I'm just sort of a decade behind in terms of figuring out what I want to do, where I want to be. And I'm bothered by the fact that simple summaries and readings take me significantly longer than they should, purely because I lack the discipline to work, because I just never had to before. There's this whole thought of, it's not a race, take things at your own pace, and that's probably true, but it's so incredibly hard to internalize that. And distractions happen as well, and it's perfectly valid to spend days or weeks or sometimes even years just doing nothing as well. Take care of yourself how you need to. It'll come with time. Allow yourself to be sad, angry, frustrated. Allow yourself to be silly, to be cringe. Mainly allow yourself to be you and strive to be the best you can be, because no one else will know better. I will continue working on myself and strive to be better, because I gave some friends promises that I intend to keep, and I will continuously work on being the best me. A sincere thank you for everything you've done for me, and thank you for listening.